Hi and welcome back to my channel. In the last episode I promised you a boat tour, so here we are.
I'm Jeanette and this is Tilda. Buying a budget boat with a dream of long-term sailing, I got myself a lot of work. But one step at a time, the journey has begun, in no rush to sail as far as possible and instead taking the time to enjoy and sharing the experience with others. I hope you will enjoy too.
As you can see right from the start, it's like really good standing height in here, which is one of the things that was really important to me about choosing a boat, and one of the things that I almost forgot to tell you about when I was talking about my criteria last week. But yeah, it's fairly spacious for a small boat. In the head, of course, we have the regular rebirth. Gotten some extra bed comfort. So here we have a really big locker for clothes, and this is also where we have the propane leak tester. But except for this one and the storage that is underneath the bed, there is not so much storage here. And underneath the bed, it's like a little bit too tricky if you want to like change a t-shirt or something. So that's where we keep for now the spinnaker that's not used so much at the moment, wetsuits, and there's also, I didn't tell you about that last time, but like water tanks and diesel tanks is also of course something you look into. This boat didn't have huge ones, so I also got an extra water tank that it's underneath here, but it's not installed yet. Yeah, but so except for that, you can't put that much storage here. You can see there is shelves alongside here, but they are not really so good. You can't really put anything on them because it just like tips out again. So I put up those nets, but they are not really working great. It keeps the stuff a little bit more there when you're heeling over, but I'm gonna figure something else out. Either I'm gonna build lockers here, or I'm gonna make another solution with the fabric going a bit up that you can take away, so you can put things here and make it stay where it is. Yeah, I think that's it. And otherwise here we have only like cabin lights where you can charge your cell phone. And you might notice that it's a little bit dark in here, and that is because we have put the dinghy on deck. So the dinghy is on top of the locker here, so it limits the daylight that comes into the boat right now. But it's kind of a good, it was a really good way of putting the dinghy, until I realized as the boat is in a certain angle towards the sun right now, it shadows the solar panel a little bit, and a little bit shadow on a solar panel means like no charging at all almost. But that's another problem. So enough of the rebirth. Let's get back out. As you can see, it's a quite spacious salon. We have a good table that is of course foldable, so you can make more space on both sides, of course, to walk around here. And the sofas here is full length, so you can easily sleep one person on each side. And on both sides there is lockers for different stuff, and there's also of course the important locker in the table for wine. On the starboard side we have the galley, and we have double sinks, which is really good because most things tend to end up there sooner or later. And there is a small fridge that is down here. That could have been bigger, but that's the way it is for now at least. One of the features is this little locker, so you can open here if you have like guests in here. They can like call for the morning coffee, or you can have some stuff lying here that you can actually quite easily access. We have big lockers here for most kitchen things that you need. We have a propane stove with oven, and also I use an extra induction. Sometimes when you have shore power, it's really good to be able to use that instead. I did tell you there is like a little bit of limited storage on this boat. One of the parts that you can actually increase storage in this boat is right in here in this section. This is like a huge space, but it's not so well used with only 3 small drawers. You can't fit that much into them. From the other side of the galley we have the nav table. It's not like the traditional navigation table where you can sit down, but you can keep your charts, and there is a good locker for some stuff, but it's also a lot of unused space here. So I'm thinking about maybe building a wardrobe of the entire space. And underneath here we just have like a shoe storage, a small heater. It's not working excellent, but it gives a little bit more warmth. And right next to the stair we have another small heater. This is a really good one. It gives like 3 or 4 degrees up in the boat for half an hour use. But it's making a lot of sounds, so getting a new solution for heater is like one priority. And as you can see, we have a door here, and this is the toilet. So for a small boat, this is a fairly spacious toilet with a sink and big lockers, and also inside here is sort of the only real wardrobe that we have. So here it's our sailing gear, like life vests and sailing jackets, and also emergency equipments and first aid kits and stuff like that. And underneath here, this is another part where the boat is not used that good for storage. We keep it for laundry, but it's just like it's a big hole behind this wall. It's a good solution. You can get into the aft cabins here and also reach the diesel tank and the septic tank if you need to from here. When it comes to storage, you of course also have to mention this stair. It's a lot of space behind this stair. It's batteries behind that, and one of the reasons it's really hard to put too much behind it is because behind this is also where you open one of the ways into the engine room. But the stair is really clumsy and heavy to move around, so I don't know if there is something I would do in a rough sea if you have a problem. So I'm thinking about building another solution for it. Okay, I think that's it for inside. So yeah, let's go outside. So as you can see, in order to get to the aft cabins, you have to go out. Just to give you a little bit of a glimpse of the cockpit as well. I think one thing that is important, because you spend quite a lot of time here, that is to have some sort of comfort, and I just have those. They are not so thick, but they're also really easy to just fold or roll up and stow away someplace. So I'm kind of happy with them. And also the benches here are long enough to sleep a full-grown person on, so that's also something that's really good on this boat. Here is one of the little more tricky parts. This is the anchor box, which now does not have an anchor, but mostly cables. And also this is the only place to have the propane tubes, and I would prefer to have bigger tubes, so have one big tubes in here. At the moment I got too small, but if I would like to install an anchor with maybe 30 meters of chain, I could not fit both a bigger tube and have room for the chain. So at the moment I have to choose between having that amount of chain or having a bigger tube, and I can't really decide yet. So at the moment I have a small tube. I didn't have any particular wish for a center cockpit, but I do feel it's good to have the cockpit a little bit sheltered. And about this solution to have a separate entrance to the aft cabins, it's really convenient for guests to have their own space. I don't know if I want to show you really. It's used as storage at the moment, so it's like a bunch of stuff. And once you gotten in here, you have one bed at the port side. But it's really a lot of stuff. I didn't think of that when I promised a boat tour. Okay, so that's like the port side, and Underneath the stair to get in here there is another entry to the engine room, and this is the major space for all the stuff that has nowhere else to go at the moment. Yeah, you can see like buckets and a whole bunch of ropes. Well, it's a lot of things stored here, so you can't really perhaps see that much, but this is also a little bit longer, so it has an area that could be used for like storage in the front. You might wonder why I have all those things inside the boat, because normally you stow it in the cockpit, but that's one of the disadvantages with this boat. So as you might now understand, underneath the benches here it's the beds, it's no storage, so there is no really good lockers outside of the boat. So the outdoor storage is pretty much what you can have in here, and there's one on the other side too that is used for the dinghy petrol, and here is mostly like swimming gear. I hope you liked this episode, and especially those of you who asked for the boat tour. And if you did like it, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. In the next episode we untie the lines and you will meet the crew, so I hope I see you next week.